Welcome to On the Line, conversations about insuring what matters most, presented by Mainline Benefits.
We are on the line with the first Team Takeover. My name is Tony Hunsberger, here with Heather Geske, Dale Walenga, Rooster, and Cupcake. For our first segment, we're going to be talking about you personally. So, Heather, what got you into this business?
I was bribed. I feel like there was a little bit of kidnapping, maybe some Stockholm syndrome, I think. No, for real. I hated what I did. I worked in kitchens and I cooked professionally for 10 years and I was going nowhere and wasn't loving the direction of my life. And I met a guy in Oak Park. Was it Oak Park? I went to a cattle call interview 15 years ago with 10 other people and
Joe Hayes. Scott Tucker
and Joe Hayes. Yep.
Yep.
Scott Tucker can take all the credit for at least getting me there, and then I did everything else. So it's been a big life change for sure.
Yeah. And you did recently just move from one part of Colorado to the other?
Northern Colorado to almost dead center Colorado. Yep.
Nice.
Is also big changes, but not Tennessee. We decided my husband and I, after 2 years of looking around the country for places to move, we decided Colorado's best, and it is.
And Dale Walenga, he lives in Lake Zurich, Illinois.
I do.
Incredibly deep voice
I
on
try.
the radio.
It's a bass.
Never realized that as I talked to you on the phone.
No,
The phone has a different quality.
it does.
It's incredible. Tell us about you, Roost.
Yeah, so I was a teacher out of college, soccer coach. For reasons that people know me, realized I needed to get out of that profession. I loved it, but couldn't do the job. And then I did insurance sales, life insurance over the phone with a company called AccuQuote. It was entertaining, but it was like order taking. And then just put some feelers out there online, and then got a call from Arnie Aloff one day. Came into an office, and that man, super goofy, but so am I. And like we totally connected, and I got his goofiness, I got his everything about him made sense to me, even though it doesn't make sense. It does. But yeah, I was young, just starting a family, kind of. It was just an opportunity to like run your own business.
So neither of you grew up dreaming of being successful insurance producers? Yet here we are.
Sadly, no. But
No.
I feel like we should have. Right?
No, but like if you look at the social media sphere, right? Like especially on Instagram, there are no shortage of accounts of like life insurance, like long-term, the final expense producers everywhere. And they're in their teens to early 20s, just transactionally doing this, which is the opposite of what we do.
I actually had a guy come to my house yesterday as a contractor, and he's like, I have to introduce you to this kid who's 19 years old. And he's like, what do you want to be? Like, why are you here working? Because he's a contractor hiring like a laborer for a construction company. And the 19-year-old kid looks at him, he's like, I want to sell health insurance. Like, who says
down.
that? And he's like, I can't believe you just said that, because I'm actually on my way to a guy's house, and that's what he does. He owns a health insurance agency. So I got a really good introduction for him.
That's amazing.
Another guy who might be sitting right here in between us one day.
No. Mm-mm.
Just us.
No, just us.
Okay. Well, so
But how did you get in the industry? Because your story is different.
Yeah. Pure mistake. Entire mistake. I was in college working on a dock, tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus playing basketball. Then I couldn't walk, which means I couldn't unload trucks.
Yeah.
So I sent my resume anywhere that even seemed remotely of interest. These guys called me back right away, and here we are, 20-something years later.
You're over 20 years, right?
Yeah. That was, that was January of 2002.
Yeah. So you're almost
Crazy.
almost 25 years in.
Yeah. So, and I mean, as you
So you'll be retiring after this.
Yeah, this
Podcast.
this is actually my retirement, like my see you guys later show.
That's what the party's for, huh?
Yeah, that's what the party's for. Yeah.
Nice.
Saw the balloons
That's good. Yeah.
and the bourbon. Oh, that was for the show.
The black cake over the hill.
The takeover.
The takeover.
Yes. Okay, so segment 2 here of the team takeover is going to focus mostly on a team name for our sales team.
Which is a struggle, right? Because you want to be inclusive for the members of the team, right? Like how many people are on the team?
I think there's like 17 writing agents.
17 writing agents and maybe obviously more that quite aren't producing yet, right? So it's over
Right.
20 probably.
About that.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant team, right? So yeah, as we brainstorm here, let's come up with an idea for a team name that we can all get behind. Any ideas, Heather?
Team overachievers? Under overachievers?
Yeah, that's kind of played out.
Yeah.
Again, it's nothing I would ever wear on any like
Nothing?
clothing. I would never like
What would you wear though?
nothing,
Think of logos.
you know.
Team stripped down.
No, but a team name would, just like anything else, like it's a sport, it's something, right? It unifies you, right? It brings you together, right? We're in the World Cup right now. Like you may hate soccer, but people are watching that, right? I love soccer. Like I love the cup. It's awesome, especially here. So yeah, team name, Tony.
Team ranch dressing.
Yeah, they love that ranch.
I do love the ranch.
I like bacon. Is there a way to work that in? Incorporate
bacon.
some.
Well, we did.
Sizzle?
okay,
Maybe
so
team bacon bites,
when-
bacon bits.
When the nicknames came in, they were all food nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
So, team snack time.
Snack time. But rooster's not really a food.
You can eat rooster.
No,
for
we're
sure.
more into reproducing.
Yeah, so we're underneath the umbrella of mainline benefits, brainstorming here on how how we can name our team, right?
Maybe we should do a survey.
That's
Comment if you
that's-
have a good team name. For
A survey
us.
monkey.
A survey monkey.
No, comment, like, subscribe,
But at the end of the day, like
comment.
you could be whatever you are. It's still mainline benefits, right?
Right.
You have like your own independent agency, as do I.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's mainline benefits, right? We're all one big team,
Yep.
which is huge,
And looking to grow.
obviously.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What does it take to be a successful insurance agent at Mainline? Like what are the qualities that you would say would, number one, make a good producer, but also make a good teammate?
Well, we have our core benefits, right? Being resourceful and making sure that we're, doing our work for ourselves,
Being the expert.
being an expert, making sure that we're taking care of people in the right way for them,
Doing the right thing, yeah.
and figuring it out and working hard on your own. And it really, it makes a huge difference, right? Nobody's going to tell you to get up and work in the morning. Nobody's going to tell you how many calls you should make, or there's a great structure and a framework in place for us. But at the end of the day, the kind of agents that we want and the ones that are going to be successful, and over 15 years, I've seen quite a few come and go.
Yeah.
The ones that are most successful take what Mainline is teaching and what we're learning in our, multiple trainings a week, and they go out and apply it, and they go out and work really on their own and call for help as needed, but, can kind of take everything and run with it.
Yep. Now, what would you say as a new agent was maybe the biggest difficult, like the biggest
Cash.
The hurdle.
the hurdle?
you will.
So like what is that you need to overcome to, like, as a new agent? Like what would you say you faced? And again, I mean, you've been successful now for 15, 16 years.
Yeah, it's like 14 and a half years. Yeah.
Okay.
But that first year you struggle, and Tony was my support system, put gas in my car. But as long as you keep working, the results show up, but you are commission only, and the first year you are hustling as much as you can to build up your book of business and get people to answer the door and kind of figure out how to talk to people. I still don't know how to talk to people sometimes.
But I still take your calls.
Thanks.
Yeah, like I would tell someone new in the business, like expect like nothing but failure to start,
Yeah.
but that
Yes.
failure generates that success, right? Like I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, look, we can only learn from our mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you're not learning.
You
right?
have to be willing to make mistakes.
Like if you get in this business and like you write every single person you talk to, the first time you don't could be your downfall, right? Because you're not used to failure or used to like being rejected, right? We're out here trying to help people, and not everyone wants to be helped. Not everyone needs our help. But I would tell someone that wants to come into this business, like, look, you're it. Like you're the wall that's there. You're either going to create that wall or you're going to break through that wall. But you have to be willing to work independently.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take matters into your own hands, right?
Yep.
So if you're someone that needs to be guided constantly or have your hand held, or you want to be an employee, this is going to be
Nobody tells you what to do.
yeah, it's going to be a struggle here,
Yeah.
right? And it's mainline. It could be, Gallagher. I don't care what it is, any insurance agency. But here,
or self-employment, right?
yeah, it's just in general, you have to be willing to lose to win. And I think a lot, especially in like with education and generation, I think a lot of people don't understand that, So you can't have an employee mindset. You need to have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Well, I would say too that the successful people are going to make a habit out of doing the things that maybe the people who fail aren't even willing to do.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So, I mean, how many times have we had the conversation where like, you're done. I'm never making another phone call ever again. I'm only walking into businesses. And then
You
later,
mean how many times did I quit in my first year? Let's talk.
well, so here, that's another thing I was going to bring up is that I feel like people who are super successful here, they always find a way to get the job done. They're whether they've been told no 99 times, the 100th time they're getting a yes, right? Like they're just not like the idea of quitting or losing or failure is never even like a possibility, right?
Failure's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to make, what's the Michael Jordan thing? The 3,000 shots or something.
Well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
That's not Michael Jordan.
It
Wayne
is.
Gretzky.
Well, they're cousins.
They
Well,
are.
But like Tony is a sales leader, right? As we're coming up with this team takeover and trying to figure out a name, like as you're recruiting or you're interviewing, like what are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for a lot of the things you guys just had mentioned, but really somebody who is willing to just come out and number one, be organized, right? Like plan their day. It's crazy to me that people who are new to any industry, who are self-employed, wouldn't put together a schedule of what their day is going to look like.
Your employer sure would.
Your employer would, yeah. I remember when I was in college, when I was working on a dock, which is basically how I then became an insurance person, right? Like I'm literally loading and unloading trucks, and they told me, hey, you're going to unload that truck, you're going to break it down onto those pallets, and you're going to put it away over there. We don't have that here, but
We do,
right? So like, I feel like people miss the boat when they start thinking about this is a job, this isn't, or even a career. It is a career, but it's a business, right? And so people will work harder for someone else than they'll work for themselves,
right?
which is bizarre.
It's super
It's
interesting.
so crazy. But also too, some people need to have their time managed for them. They're just not good at it, right? And so like here, we can do whatever we want, which is a good and a bad
We do have
thing.
a framework if you need it, right?
We have a framework and we have incredible
need it.
tools. You never have.
I know.
But we have incredible tools to where you can truly at the beginning of the week put on like your hat, I'm the boss hat, right?
Yeah.
Schedule out a schedule of activities for your employee, which you're that person too.
Yeah.
But then after you take that boss hat off, put the worker guy hat on, then you just go do whatever that plan was. And then you of course have to, manage it, right? Like you have to be able to measure that. So like I'm going to go, in Heather's case, she's like, I'm never making another call. I'm going to make 200 walk and talks a day. Like, okay. And then after
Walk
I
in
think
holes in the soles of my shoes.
Yeah, but what did that produce?
I have clients that I have had for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was walk and talks, driving dials. It was calling total strangers from.
So you still picked up the phone, but just in a different.
Yeah.
in a different mindset for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of like what we do in the insurance business, right? That is kind of, it's unique to other businesses, right? If you sell other things, right? You sell for that year, you've earned that money, and then come January 1st, you're restarting.
That's right. Yeah.
In our business, it's not like that, right? The objective of our business is typically to grow a book of business to help those folks from every stage of what they need, right? If you got a young family, you're dealing with their needs is in their 20s and 30s. And if you're dealing with Medicare in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, that's the beauty of what we do here with Mainline Benefits is the insurance business rewards you years and years after the work you put in and the successes you had and even the failures. You're getting paid for those years and years after the fact.
And your clients will too.
Correct.
Right? If you do a great job for your clients and you work within, the products that we have with Mainline Benefits and you just continue to work with people, I don't have to give anybody up. I work in 13 states. I have worked in 5 countries. I get to take my work with me. And I absolutely love, like from my work, from walk and talks, from doing networking events, from like dialing the phone and just like actual real live cold calling, which was so fun. I have whole families and generations that I work with now. I work with their parents. I work with their kids. I have grandkids that I work with,
That's
and
amazing,
it's
right?
Like, it keeps on giving as long as you take care of people and as long as you do the work.
But how rewarding is that?
It's amazing. Whenever, like I had a granddaughter call me this week. I did the grandmother's Medicare. I don't remember if I talked to the parents, but the granddaughter called me and she called me while I was getting on my flight to come here. And she was like, I'm just losing my coverage. I'm 26. I don't know what to do. I've never even heard of Connect for Health Colorado. And she clearly had because she knew the name. So she's like, I just don't. The number of people that are lost and overwhelmed by this, it's kind of unending. But people, I just love it. I love to make my phone ring. I want to do all the work so my phone rings.
Now, wouldn't you say though, there's no shortage of people soliciting, right? Mm-hmm. All over the place.
Oh, and I got one right before I walked in here.
There you go. So I would say, just knowing the two of you guys and being on lots of your appointments with you, that I would say, if I could just like summarize it, like one of the things you guys do very well differently is that, not only do you help people, buy insurance, but you do help them become prepared in the event that they need to use it, right?
100%.
And so I feel like as a whole, even as a company, right, we're not just an 800 number that's like, oh yeah, here, let me just sign you up for whatever plan makes me the most money. It's a process of, going through and finding out what's most important, why is that important, and then putting together not just health insurance, but health insurance and the things that would go along with them using it, right? Like so, and that varies greatly. I mean, no two client is exactly the same. However, when you look at, somebody might need a disability plan, right? Somebody might need a life insurance policy.
Somebody might need so many people need long-term care. And they need it well before they ever want to think about it. Right. You can get long-term care in your 40s and 50s, mid 40s, right? Because there's a limit. But you can get it significantly less expensive than when you actually are facing down going into a nursing home or all the other.
But how do you find out that they even have a need for that?
You talk to them.
You ask them.
But how do they even know they have a need for that, right? The need behind the need, right? That we talk about a lot here at Mainline Benefits, right? Is helping people uncover these things.
Right.
And that's the skill that it takes a while to develop. And that's what our team does. That's what Mainline does, right? Is bring those skills to people to help people, right? It's, you just can't say, hey, what do you think about long-term care? Are you nervous? Like you're going to need care down the road. And if you ask Tony, Heather, or myself, well, no. Not right now.
No, that's never going to happen to me. That's never going to happen to me.
And especially in our world, right, we work with people that we've had clients that have needed it, right? So we live it, we see it, and we understand what happens financially for folks and emotionally for folks, especially like, the sandwich generation, right, where you got your own kids and you're taking care of them and you're trying to take care of your parents, right? You're sandwiched in between that. So not to get so much into product, but that's what Mainline does, is we're here to service those folks, right? Those people who are kind of underserved, right? It's that middle income America and middle America that we're here to make sure they're
Protect.
taken care of, right? And protected.
Protect and take, and make sure they even know about it. Like, there's nothing like having somebody in their 70s walk into your office and say, well, now I need this,
And
or at 10 minutes after you get a cancer diagnosis or
Right.
something. And that's what we want to, we kind of want to be like a front line in a way and protect people. And that's why, with the mainline benefits training and the education and all of the stuff that we go through, we have an opportunity that your 800 number does not, to just help people.
And well, on that note, I mean, I've delivered a lot of checks to people, right? And never do we want to do that. Like, insurance is one of those weird things, right?
Worst thing to use.
Yeah, you spend all this money hoping not to use it, right? But then when you actually have somebody who's like, "Oh man, Roost, I just had this crazy diagnosis. I've got stage 4 cancer. It's moving quick." And when you can call those people and say, "Hey, listen, I know it's a stressful time in obviously in your family's life, right? But you don't have to have the financial side of that be one of those stressors."
Right.
I mean, that's incredibly rewarding, So
it's beyond rewarding. It's just like to alleviate someone's stress or burden or whatever is huge. And like that, when I talk to people, I'm like, look, no one wants to be a burden to anyone. Now, stereotypically, it's women don't want to be a burden. Guys, we don't think about that. Like, truly.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, like when I talk to people, I'm like, do you want to be a burden to your children or your grandchildren? No. So there's ways to avoid
bigger
that.
conversation.
Yeah, but there's ways to avoid that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not know that. But even to like bring that full circle, like who we're looking for in terms of agents is like, you have to have empathy, right? You have to care about others.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like if you're out there and maybe you don't even have those traits, right? But if you can understand like what your role is as an insurance broker to protect people and protect families, that's what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. You may not like have that empathy and like have that emotion, but if you understand like what you're doing on a day in, day out basis is going to protect people and make their lives easier, that's what we're looking for, in terms of recruiting.
People who care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your care may be different, You may care about the person, you may not. You may care, hey, I'm making a bunch of money on this, whatever. But you're still doing the job.
Yeah.
You're still protecting. So like it's almost that trickle down of like, dude, I'm making a ton of money. I'm helping these people. I'm selling a ton of insurance. Yeah, great. But you're also protecting people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you do that even unknowingly if you're just following a system, right?
Right.
And so again, as we think about new agents, like if you just come in with a work ethic, right? And you have the attitude that whatever happens, I'm not failing, right? This is not a no isn't a failure. A no isn't okay, right?
You're almost to a success
right
at the end of the day.
But then you're teachable, coachable, and then you're willing to follow the process,
right? As long as you can learn from it, I feel like teachable and coachable is like
if you can just plug yourself in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even bring it like Heather and I are a little bit different, right? Like Heather, you do most of your stuff remote, right? You're over the phone.
Yep.
Tony and I are mostly like in person, right? So I would even touch on a little bit on like the skills required to do that, right?
Yeah.
I've seen videos and watched stuff online on YouTube or Instagram where like these guys are like, it doesn't matter if you're in person or over the phone, sales or sales, right? And there's some truth to that, but there's also faces and voices that are best suited.
There's humans,
right, for over
Although you
the
have
phone.
An incredible
I appreciate
phone
that.
voice. I didn't notice until now.
Right, appreciate that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
he's doing all the commercials from now on.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, you're helping people, but like some people may be awesome over the phone and absolutely terrible in front of people, right, or vice versa. So I mean, I think that's something we should bring in as we're trying to bring people in.
It's not one size fits all.
It's
right?
true.
You make this business what you want from it, right? I worked face to face for 7 or 8 years. I was driving 200. How many miles do you drive a day?
It depends, but yeah, like let's do a weekly. In a busy
Not
week,
for your tax guy,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Not for the IRS.
Or my insurance guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive. It's 12,000 miles a year. During enrollment season, yeah, it could be 600 to 900 miles a week.
Yeah. I hate driving.
And I love
hate
it.
I hate sitting in the car, sitting in traffic, going from Naperville to Chicago and then up to Gray's Lake and then back because I wasn't super organized, right? And I would take an appointment wherever I could get it.
But
from the beginning.
you still had success.
I so had
because you
success, but I
followed
never-
a system, right?
Yep, and I never gave up. I never gave up.
Well, and I mean, it's crazy now. And so, of course, there's a very true path to success over the phone. However, like I always find it crazy that when someone who's new, who has an opportunity to run an appointment in Rockford face-to-face from Des Plaines, even though that's what, 48 minutes?
It's these days, yeah, it's like the
Whatever
Autobahn.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's super quick.
I want to drive.
It's like, but they're just doing it over the phone. So we have all these, like what we grew up doing doesn't have to be that way. I mean, when I first started, we didn't even have a way to do an online application. It was all paper.
Man.
And I could not afford a computer. I couldn't afford a laptop when I first got out of college doing this. So it was like I would print off all the rate sheets and I would bring them to these appointments. And then it's like, oh my God.
Milk
Then
crates full of paper in my trunk.
yes.
I was just so happy when I got to do away with that. And I'm not great at doing a paper app. I'm just not. I had to do one for a group
I've
this
seen
week.
your handwriting.
So the beauty of all that, right, is now it's become dummy proof to some extent.
Yeah,
right?
agent proof. Yeah.
Heather
And so like,
Heather.
and for people, especially like the generations before, like, you know, the younger ones, they have no concept of
people that can't
right?
write in
Yeah.
cursive.
And so like if you're looking for, you know, an opportunity where it's all technical, it's all digital, it's all online, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You know?
I tell people I have my website set up, and I tell people I'll meet you where you're at, right? I am not driving to Pueblo. I live in Monument, Colorado. I'm not driving to Pueblo. Significantly closer than when I was in Longmont, but we can meet on Zoom. We can meet on the phone. We can meet on Teams if I can figure it out, right? People don't necessarily want you in their home, right?
It's interesting,
And,
right?
you
Would you
know,
say there's a demographic that
Probably.
like, is there a shift, right? So I would
I
say
think
like
COVID.
maybe,
COVID changed
but
everything.
for some of us, we didn't participate in that.
Tell us how you didn't participate.
I still did what I did,
Yeah.
which is fine because I thought that was in the best interest of the consumer, right? But there is, I definitely agree with you that like if you look at like the business that like most of my business is Medicare, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that's old school, right? These people still want to see you, want to touch,
Some do. I do a lot of Medicare over the phone.
which is true,
Yeah.
right? It depends on how you run. And there's clients I have that like, we'll just do it over the phone. I'm like, no, I'll just come and see you. Like, seriously? I'm like, yeah.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
But I also nudge it that way, right? Like you
Yeah.
have control as your own, you know, business owner to
Yeah.
do that, right? But yeah, I think there's definitely a generational or demographic where the idea of someone coming to my home is like crazy, right?
My house would be spotlessly clean top to bottom before somebody showed up.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Me, I work in my sweats.
Right.
So I'm just kidding. I don't ever dress casual, ever.
No, of course not.
My dogs, they work with me. They sit under the desk while I'm working. And
Yeah. So my kids don't. Yeah. Nor does my wife or her friends. So
that's nice, though.
yeah. So working from home is not like a great option for me. And then also, like for me, again, I've been in this business now over 20 years. So as the vast majority of my clients are referral based, they're almost all local, right?
And they're
so
used to it, right? They're same thing with
they say
any
go
kind
see
of
Tony.
Yeah, it's
they
an
don't say call Tony.
It's
They
an
say-
expectation.
Yeah, it's expected. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, part of that's because that's my preference too, you know? So
It's how you built your business.
But it works either way.
it works.
Or
either
you
way.
can do both,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I moved my business all over the country, so I had to learn. I had to adapt a little bit.
Well, and as new agents come on board, like, you know, just knowing the lead systems, you know, as a new agent, I had plenty of Illinois-based leads to call. Like right now, we don't have that. So
Right.
if you're trying to build up a business solely on
local, if you will,
Leads
or,
Local, yeah.
leads
or
are feast and
radius.
famine,
Yeah,
right?
a radius, then yeah, it's got to
Yeah.
be. You really don't have enough to live on in just one area,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, that's definitely changed in the business in the last decade or 2 decades for sure.
Yeah. Well, and then also too, like, I mean, think about this. 20 plus years ago, like your cell phone looked a lot different,
Oh my God, so much different.
So like there wasn't a whole lot of texting going on. I was calling people on their landlines at whatever, 7:00 at night, it's a little bit different now.
Yeah.
So
People are going back to that.
There is.
There's like a Luddite kind of revolution that people
Which I
want
appreciate.
flip phones. Yeah. Yeah. People want analog cars. They want to disconnect.
They're disconnecting.
Um,
And so that's why I think there is that draw of
Yeah.
like, there's
good
times,
old fashioned face.
yeah,
to
or
face.
face to face, like an actual human interaction, which is so lacking, right? There's times I get referrals like, you're seriously going to come and see me? I'm like, well, I mean, should I?
I'm right around the corner already.
how many cats do you have?
Like, yeah,
How many-
Do you make a lot
like
of
it,
jello?
right.
What?
Is there a reason I shouldn't come and see you?
So, have you guys come across this recently where people are just saying, I don't even want any insurance at all. Like, I'm not spending or $2,200 a month for my family's health insurance. Like, have you guys, have you come across that?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And there's some validity to it, right?
Yeah.
When you look at like the insurance landscape, right, since the advent of the Affordable Care Act, it's completely changed. Like what insurance is supposed to be versus what it is now, right? The idea of insurance was you would pay an insurance company a premium monthly, and they would say, look, if something happens to you, here's your cap, right? The most you'd have to spend, and we'd cover the rest. And that handshake, that agreement worked for, the dawn of time, if you will.
Still working on home and auto.
Yeah, it does to some extent, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes to health insurance, there's definitely a subset that's increasing that's not participating.
Yeah.
They don't see a value in spending significant amounts of money, like, and to some extent, you can call it a mortgage payment or close to,
Yeah.
on a monthly basis, and still be on the hook for upwards of $18,000 to $20,000 out of pocket
For a household.
Yeah. So like for a family, you could be looking at 40 to 50, 60 grand is your total exposure.
If you have a bad year.
If something happens
just on
to you.
health insurance.
So you say, look, my exposure is 60 grand. Well, if I remove the premium, I still have an exposure per se, not necessarily, but you put 20 to 30 grand back in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so we're seeing more of that, right? And so there's alternatives out there that will somewhat alleviate some of that exposure and that risk. And we have products that can do that, right? But it also depends where you live, right? We have 50 states, right? So it's 50, if you will,
Options.
options,
Yeah.
but also like classes in like, democracy, if you will, right? Like 50 states are doing different things. So for those that aren't participating in the health insurance market, or they're saying, look, I just can't afford it, or I don't see a value in it, there's ways we can help, but there's also conversations to have of ways to leverage and to protect yourself with products that maybe aren't necessarily health insurance, but they're things that could put your family in a position that if something does happen, that's catastrophic, right? At the end of the day, if you're going to a doctor or seeing a specialist and nothing's happening to you, right, the exposure is minimal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have a major catastrophic event, be it cancer, a heart attack, a stroke, right, you have a debilitating disease, something along those lines, there are insurance products that you can buy that aren't nearly as expensive as your traditional health insurance through the Affordable Care Act that could put your family in a position that A, you have money, and B, you have leverage. So for those that aren't participating in the traditional health insurance market, there's definitely conversations to have of ways to put you in a position that if something does happen, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't be in the best position.
Well, they have to just understand it.
Right. It's mitigating risk, right? That's all insurance is.
Yeah.
And health insurance these days, I don't know what it is, but it's not health insurance, right? At the end of the day, like if you have car insurance, your State Farms, your Allstate, your Farmers. I know I have State Farm, and I know my State Farm agent, he sends me gas cards every 3 months, And he sends me gift cards to get my oils or my tires rotated. Of course he doesn't.
He loves you.
He doesn't. I pay for that maintenance on my car, right?
Yeah.
The same thing when it comes to like health insurance, right? There isn't that anymore where you just pay for your own maintenance, right? You get your own physicals, you pay for them, right? That's not there anymore.
Right.
So people are like, well, look, I'm paying 30 grand and I get like my physical covered. Like, so at the end of the day, like, what did you really pay for, right?
30 grand for a physical?
At the end of the day, if you got a family of 4 on
Yep.
$2,500 a month,
Yep.
Well, I always ask people when it's like, what's most important? And they're like, oh, I want to make sure my physicals are covered. I'm like, you're going to spend 30 grand just to get a physical? Like, what?
but but the dynamics change in people's minds, right?
Yeah.
Like it's always the market, you know, can transform you, or it gets into like what you think it is, right?
Yeah, you're conditioned.
You are. At the end of the day, like a perfect health insurance plan would be a $25,000 deductible. And for a family, it would be $500 a month, and you pay for everything.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Because at the end of the
Like
day,
the
now,
old school HSAs.
right? So now at the end of the day, your total exposure is 30 grand, but you're paying $500 a month, versus your exposure being 60 grand. Now you're paying 30 grand of it for sure.
Yes.
So
Right?
the Affordable Care Act has fully shifted the conversation onto preventive care, primary care needs, stuff like that. And kind of the opting out people are the ones that are paying, 25 or 30 grand a year to cover their family, not even to cover their family. I paid $20,000 for health insurance 2 years ago. No subsidy, no nothing. I need health insurance. I need to make sure that if I get cancer, I'm not at any point paying the full cost of it. And I am a hardcore no chemotherapy person after watching my stepmom die of chemotherapy. There's the kind of like the process of, or the thought of I'm going to opt out means they're not using any of that stuff. Getting a preventive care visit, you can pay cash for. You can go out of pocket for it.
But can you?
Yes.
So I think the market also is a little bit unique, where the insurance companies kind of control that market, right? So the idea, the idea of a market,
can I say that?
What's that?
Can we talk about direct primary care?
but it doesn't
Say
exist.
whatever you want, Cup.
But doesn't exist everywhere, right? It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. Not on a large scale. So at the end of the day, right, we have clients, I imagine you all do, where their doctors will not see them unless they're insured.
Yeah.
And they don't have there's no pricing structure in the health insurance market. Like some places may have an uninsured like price list, which is what we're looking for. The whole problem with healthcare is there's no price, there's no market, right? If you have hospital A says, look, I'm gonna charge $600 for an MRI, then hospital B can say, well, we'll charge $550. And now you have a market. When you have health insurance, you're dealing with negotiated rates based off of contracts that no one has access to, right?
Yeah.
There's no pricing structure.
Yep.
It's the only thing we deal with, I think, on a day-to-day basis where there's no menu, right? You go to a restaurant.
We as in everyone.
Right? There's a menu. You know what you're paying, right? You go buy a car or a phone, whatever it is you're buying, there's a menu. You may not like the menu, but it's the menu. When it comes to healthcare and like there's health insurance and there's healthcare. They're totally different, right? And we conflate it. When you see in the media, you see anywhere, people talk about healthcare as health insurance. It's not. It's two different animals. Insurance is you're paying someone to prevent a loss, right? To mitigate or stop loss. That's health insurance. Healthcare is the care of, right?
Yep.
Receiving care from. And so how do we navigate those two things? And right now they're not. They're opposites. And so like, I mean, I have my own ways of solving all of this, and there's legislation that has it out there to solve some of these problems. But for those that aren't participating in health insurance, you need to have supplemental, you need to have something else in place to protect yourself and your family and the assets you do have. Because if you have money and you get diagnosed with something and you get a check for 60 grand, that 60 grand will give you access to care potentially, right? Versus you spending $30,000 on health insurance and still having a $60,000 cap or $20,000 cap for your family.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is the value to meeting with someone from Mainline, right? Where we're thinking through, okay, look, $2,200, not affordable. $1,000, not affordable. So I'm going to just go without, or I can call Heather and then,
There's an option.
yeah.
There's something. There's always something. It doesn't matter what your budget is. It doesn't matter, really, like it really matters like what you want and what you find important. And in that we have options, we have solutions, we have 150, 200 different plan options that will help you to mitigate your risk, right? Without the primary care aspect or the little nickel and dimey things, which actually drive up the cost of healthcare so much.
Yep.
And really have like, I don't know. I keep thinking of everybody's bills that this year was hard, right? This year was hard. Premiums went up 25%. I had a family with $3,600 in monthly premium, and they were like, forget it. I'm not doing this.
And so what did you do?
So in his case, his wife really likes ACA coverage. She wants to be able to see her doctor whenever she wants to see her doctor. And so we kept her on the ECA. We took the 3 of them and put them on short term because it's in Florida. Gave him a 3-year policy on short term. He'll be on Medicare in 3 years. He'll come off. He's the primary, right, of the cost. And so we pieced it together in different ways than what mainstream media wants to tell you.
So if they called like in healthcare.com, or if they called an eHealth,
They're going to get a one size, everybody wears a size 10 shoe kind of option.
a one size fits all. So you took their $3,600 premium to what?
Oh, under $1,000.
And they understood the risks.
Yep.
And it made sense.
Yep. But he makes a very high income on retirement.
So which is fine, right?
Well, no, but he was comfortable with, I don't have 100% coverage at any point.
I'm somewhat self-insured.
Somewhat, I'm willing to take on a little bit more financial risk, and just having the options and having the different products. I don't know how many people call me and they're like, well, so-and-so, I was on the phone with so-and-so for 45 minutes. I gave them a list of my information and they hung up on me when they found out I have cancer.
Yeah.
There's always an option and there's always a product that we can help people.
Yeah, we don't turn anyone away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's something for everyone. Yep. And everyone's different.
But that's an awesome
and not
story.
Everybody
that's
needs
an awesome
ACA.
Yeah, but that's an awesome story, right? And there's dozens or tens of dozens of those amongst
thousands,
the agents
it's
of a
crazy.
mainline.
Every Friday meeting, there's one.
But that's what we do, right? We look at what you're dealing with and we're going to help you solve that.
We actually customize a solution.
But if you're going online, just using the internet or whatever, if you're not dealing with an actual licensed agent from Mainline Benefits, you're probably missing opportunities, or you're missing solutions that you don't know exist. There's so many times we talk to people, they have no idea these kind of products or these kind of programs exist.
Well, and again, going back to like our process, right? Like the benefit to working with me, somebody from Mainline, right, is we have a process that we take all of our clients through, right? That includes, of course, getting to know them a little bit, finding out what's important to them, why it's important to them, and then presenting a solution that may not just be health insurance. And in fact, it almost never is, right? Because like when somebody thinks about, okay, I'm going to buy health insurance, do they really think about the cost of a ramp that needs to be built to your front door?
Or
because
actually,
you have
like you said, even using the health insurance, like what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like car insurance is relatively like pedantic, right? You buy this, you pay a deductible, they replace your car, do whatever.
Is that your Scrabble word?
Sort of.
That's a really good word.
But when it comes
I've never
to
used that word.
yeah, when it comes to health insurance, it's the opposite of that. It's the dumbest product ever devised, the way it is, right? Because you're paying a premium, but all you have is gaps and holes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
right? Nothing is quote unquote covered, right?
Well, right.
Well, so here's one thing I always come across is like, and one of the things we always ask, but no one ever thinks about, man, if I need to use my insurance, I might not be going to work because I had a heart attack or cancer or some crazy injury. And now like I can't go to work for the next
12 weeks.
Yeah, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Like that in itself is going to cause some significant issues.
A broken leg can take you out. right? It can
Yeah.
it can devastate your income. Not only in I have to now pay a $10,000 deductible, right? And then I have a broken leg. I need surgery. I need PT. I need, in some cases, you need to sit and just lay in bed until the swelling goes down.
So
right?
let's have this
So-
conversation, right? If I called up, 833-518, whatever it is, the healthcare.gov number,
Yeah,
that conversation never happens,
not at all.
right? And the conversation about doctors network and all that usually doesn't even transpire. It's like, hey, here's the lowest cost plan. What do you think?
Yeah, because we're conditioned to buy insurance based on what's the price, what's the copayment, maybe not. My doctor takes it. Yet those aren't the important questions, but that's what we're all conditioned to. That's how we buy insurance, right?
Right.
And so, as I'm sitting with you and you're like, hey man, what happens if you do have a heart attack? Like, what's that really going to look like? That's so valuable to the consumer, yet that's never asked,
Right.
Right.
unless of course you're dealing with someone who's like truly cares about what's
That's
going
what
to
we
happen
do.
to you.
Like
Yeah,
that.
that's what we do.
That's the value of mainline benefits versus like your ginormous insurance agency.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Your-
like when you
your
buy a
big
car.
box
Like
insurance.
at the end of the day, you may care about crash ratings and all that, but you really don't have that conversation, do you?
I
Like,
wanna
hey,
know
if I
how
roll
shiny
over in
it
this, what's my
is.
likelihood of surviving? You don't have that conversation.
Right. Yeah.
I remember going to buy a car years ago, and I was like in between like a regular car and a hybrid, right? And I was so close to buying the hybrid, but I was just budging on price. And then the sales manager finally came over, and he started asking me, he's like, "What do you do? How often do you drive?" Like that's why I was trying to get the normal sales guy to ask me these questions.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, the hybrid would make no sense for you, dude."
Yeah.
Like, so I spent 2 hours here for no reason, right? So it's what we do is ask the right questions. And sometimes the questions aren't so much like, are they yes, no, or this, it's open-ended.
Sometimes they're hard questions to ask.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to people about what happens to their family when they die,
Right.
but it's a tremendously important conversation, and it's so much more than, well, my wife will sell off all my toys, or she'll probably find a new husband.
which is in jest, but it's not reality.
Yeah, right.
It's not reality. Reality is you built a family, right?
You have
wanna protect them.
$7,000 in monthly bills, and you just lost $8,000 in income.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how do we, not buy a hybrid when it's not
Right.
going to work for us? We
Right.
buy something that's a full, full coverage kind of product.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I bought a pickup truck because I liked the sales guy.
Miles
did a-
per gallon, not important.
Not in Colorado.
And for a lot of our clients, that's why they
Fine.
buy from us. We're pretty good looking. We're
We're nice people.
We're okay.
We're willing to talk to you about all the things, and that's what matters is like really talking to people, right? And finding out.
Well, having a real conversation.
Yes, having a real conversation because you're a real human and you've been through the things that they've been through, right? And you hear the same. I hear the same stories a lot, and the way we build the protection is not just for us to make money. At the end of the day, it's to make sure that when somebody's kid calls me because their mom has cancer, like there's
they
something
had a
for
cancer
them.
plan because they
Yeah,
could,
There's something for them.
or
There's a $30,000
mom
benefit.
denied that cancer plan.
Right.
Mom
against-
would never deny those.
But you understand like
She
what
loves
we
her
do too. Like
kids.
I think we all do this to some extent. Where if they don't agree with my recommended
Yeah.
coverage, it's like, okay, you're sign here, send me an email, or you're texting me saying you're declining these things.
Right.
And that's the beauty, I think, of how we all run our business, that we're not transactional. So if someone's like, look, I'm just going to buy health insurance, I say, look, here's the number to the exchange. Go ahead and take care of that. And they're like, well, you're not going to help me? I'm like, well, no, because I'm not. You're not taking my recommendation, and I have a pillow I have to sleep on, a family that I have to take care of, and you have a family you have to take care of. So what I do is help you actually build something that makes sense, that will matter when something happens. If you just want to do X, I'm not your guy.
If you want one size fits all, if you want somebody who's not gonna, like, we're advisors, right? We're brokers, we're producers. Like, there's a whole bunch of names you can
Yeah.
have, but the idea is to protect people and to help people and not to be well, here's your $36 health plan, and here's your $10,000 max out of pocket, and have a great day, and I'll never see you again.
Well, and if they wanted to
weird.
do it themselves,
Why would they call you?
that's right. And
Like
so,
how do they
Would
get
you
connected?
do your
with you?
own foot surgery, Dale?
I would not. Well, with
Maybe half a
YouTube
toe?
these days, maybe.
Maybe just half a toe, like Joe.
Maybe. Yeah.
hey, so
That's a terrible team name. You can't use that.
we've had a lot of really great conversations. Obviously, it's why you guys are really, really good at what you do. And as a sales leader, I admire like how you guys go about your business on a day-to-day basis, and I appreciate the fact that we're like on the same team together. Give us just a couple of last like wrap-up words here.
Sure. I think what sets us apart from the vast majority of like insurance agencies and brokers is our ability to have the conversations, do the fact finding, and bring everything together when you're sitting with a client to talk about like what you've always said. I think what we always bring to is like, here's your insurance. What does it look like when this has to be used? And for the vast majority, we say if a lot, and we should stop saying if. What does this look like when we have to use it, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we build this that we put as many gaps, like we protected as many gaps or holes as you have as a family, that when something does happen, at the end of the day, you're going to say, look, man, wow,
Yeah.
the money I spent made sense, right? I put myself in a position where we're protected as best as we can be based off of our budget and our needs. That's what we do. And I think like when you look at 800 numbers or healthcare.gov or state-based exchanges, these conversations never happen. They're not even part of the conversation, right? That's what we do is we sit there and we say, look, here's your family, here's you, here's your, whatever it is, and let's put a wall around it as best as we can. And here's your budget, here's your needs, and let's do what we have to do.
Yeah. That's really good.
And just keeping within, we have more options, right? We have more options. We have more ways. We have more training. We have more, kind of flexibility in almost every single way to really like take care of people and protect people. And from the broker side, coming in as a new broker and coming in as somebody who never even considered selling insurance, like, oh my God. But,
Yeah.
Being able to protect as many people as we have and being able to protect them in the ways that are right for them at the end of the day, I'll keep coming back. I've been doing this 15 years. I'm happy to do it 15 more and then pass it on to somebody. And, it's so funny. So one little thing was when I switched to working by phone, right? Because you can do this in person. You can do it by phone. You can do it over Zoom. You can create the business that you want. And I joke and I'm like, well, I get to live out my teenage girl dream, right? I talk on the phone for 14 hours a day some days.
Sounds awful.
It's amazing. I have my earbuds, I have my dogs, I have like a warm tea, and you get to like, there's nothing better than getting to build your own business without needing advanced degrees, without needing tons and tons of effort, right? I mean, I always say it's like a freight train, but once this got going, it keeps going, and we keep getting better options. We keep learning and trying and working to help people. And so I just...
Do you ever regret what
not
you're
even
doing?
for 1 second, not even all the time.
That's the beauty of what we do is like, if you really put yourself
Yeah.
into this and work it, there's no regrets.
Nothing. Mm-mm.
You'll never say, oh man, I wish I didn't do this.
What else are you going to do?
No.
Well, I can say from two perspectives, watching you guys help your clients, but then as watching you guys as agents, like growing up in the business, it's awesome. And so I would say that between just the fact that you care to help people, whether that be on a client-to-client basis or agent-to-agent basis, that's just a culture you don't get most
Anywhere.
places,
Yeah.
you know? So like we truly care about people and one another. And I'll just give a cheers to the team name that we have not yet established.
Correct.
So
It's a work in progress.
it's a work in progress.
Comment below.
Comment if you have a great team name for us.
All right.